And here we are again. It's a Thursday night, and we are live on ETVLive with the Asphalt Assault Series here, sponsored by Inside Sim Racing TV. And I'll tell you something, Cowboy, you're along for a hell of a ride tonight. Richmond, Virginia, for 160 laps. Working the booth with me tonight, none other, a celebrity by all rights, Joe Cortez. You've heard him over on PSR TV with Tim Terry every other Tuesday night. Joe, welcome to the booth.
Thanks for having me here. It's what's going to be one of the premier races in this series. Sub 3/4 of a mile here at Richmond International Raceway. And in modern times, this place has really become a proving ground to people who want to be real contenders for a championship and guys who are just turning laps out there. Tonight, we're going to see a definite division in how this championship race is decided.
You bet, and it'll boil down to 3 drivers. We'll be talking about them here in just a minute. But Laura Lawson downstairs in the trailer, of course, she's pushing the buttons like she does every Thursday night. And I'll tell you what, she's really in tune with things here and does an outstanding job working the cameras for us. I want to talk about Atlanta last week here with the Asphalt Assault Series. And, a little bit kind of a tight finish there at the end. Bobby Terrell, he takes the trophy away from Stefan Marinak in a last lap effort. I think it came down to a kind of a bump and run type of deal. Marinak and Terrell getting together. Terrell taking the trophy, but Marinak leading the most laps at 89. Your top 5 looked like this. Bobby Terrell, David Lanza with a solid run. Stefan Marinak in 3rd. Brian Harvey had a hell of a good night last time out here at Atlanta. And then C.J. LeVere, who sits 3rd in the points with a top 5 finish. So good stuff out of Atlanta last week. And Joe, this season is boiling down to 3 drivers. It's going to be Stefan Marinak, Bobby Terrell, and C.J. LeVere. And if you tuned in on Tuesday night to the Rewind BS and Backtalk radio show, we had these 3 drivers on the air with us. And we talked about their efforts all season long and what's going to take to get there at the end. This is a series, a nationwide series, Joe. There is no chase, so it's who's got the biggest pile at the end.
And funny you should mention those 3 drivers, JD. If you take, we'll get their qualifying in a minute. But I look at the qualifying results just being handed to me right now. C.J. LeVere is at the top of that poll, and guess who would be immediately following him? Stefan Marinak 2nd, Bobby Terrell in 3rd. So you have the top 3 drivers starting in the top 3 positions, and that's going to create some fireworks and friction very early on in this race tonight.
Absolutely, it will. And I'll tell you what, you look back to the spring race here at Richmond, it looked like this. Stefan Marinak finished 13th. Bobby Terrell won the race. C.J. LeVere finished in 5th here at Richmond, in this the Inside Sim Racing Asphalt Assault Series here in the springtime. So looking for Terrell to be a tough car here to beat tonight, but then, hey, don't count out these guys, Stefan Marinak and C.J. LeVere. Let's talk about points, where we stand here coming into Richmond here tonight. Stefan Marinak, of course, he holds the biggest pile. He's sitting up there at the top. Bobby Terrell, he's only 8 points off of Marinak, so kind of a tough road to hoe here for Bobby Terrell and Stefan Marinak. C.J. LeVere sitting back 47 behind. He's got the most to have to make up, but hey, any one of these 3, it's going to come down to Homestead Miami Speedway at the end of the series. Matt Lacrosse, he sits in 4th position, 107 back from the leader. And sitting in 5th, Joe, Brian Harvey, who had an outstanding night last week at Atlanta. He's 208 behind Stefan Marinak.
Rounding out your top 10 in points is John Abbott, currently sitting in 6th, 212 points behind. Behind him, Rhett McBride, only a point between 6th and 7th place in the standings. Douglas Wyatt, 256 points behind. He's in 8th place. Doug Roth with 723 points, 9th. And Glenn Campbell, not the Rhinestone Cowboy, but the other Glenn Campbell, 714 points, 273 points behind your leaders. You want to talk stats real quick? Here's a very entertaining stat for me. Marinak, so far this series, has 2 wins at tracks less than a half mile in length. Terrell has 1 at at a track less than a half mile, and he has one win on a mile-long track. So at this juncture, you have two guys who are very well versed in short track racing, in intermediate track racing, and you've got two guys who could very easily walk away with this, who are going to be battling with each other back and forth to the very end.
Absolutely, and I'll tell you what, let's talk about Richmond here for just a minute. 3/4 mile track, born in 1946 at the long ways back, Cowboy. So this is one of the oldest ones on the circuit. It is an asphalt track, 3/4 of a mile long. I already said that. 14-degree banking in the turns, 8 degrees on the front stretch, 2 degrees on the back stretch, and hey, like the Cowboy always says, that's just for drainage only. But this can be a tough track. The horsepower underneath the hood of these cars, you got to be careful getting back on the throttle, coming off the turns, getting into the turns, going into turn one. You better be solid on the brakes and watch the front bumper, because it's easy to put those things into a slide and drift all the way up to the top of the track. And then, hey, look out for that wall coming off the turns as well there.
We saw a lot of drivers in the practice session get a little bit loose coming off the turns, especially coming off the turn two, getting into the wall. We saw a lot of drivers have trouble trying to figure that transition out, and I think that's going to be one of our main trouble points for tonight. Another trouble point is going to be, like you said, managing the traction and managing the horsepower within the turns. One false move when you're two-line racing, which is very possible here at Richmond, and the next thing you know, you're not only going sliding, but you're taking guys sliding with you.
Absolutely. And tonight's race being sponsored by Inside Sim Racing TV and, of course, proud sponsors of the Asphalt Assault Series, giving away a Fanatic wheel stand. And it's one of those things, I wish the hell I'd had one back in the day when I had my setup. Instead of scratching up the top of my desks with bolting the steering wheel down and everything, but that Fanatic wheel stand is going to come in handy to the championship driver here tonight. And of course, one of those button boxes from Derek Spears Design as well. So some pretty good stuff on the line here for these guys as we finish out the season. And like I said, for CJ LeVere, Stefan Marinac, and Bobby Terrell, it's going to go all the way to Homestead Miami Speedway. Can't wait until we get there.
Can't wait till we get there, but tonight's race is absolutely going to be a defining race for whoever's going to walk away with the championship trophy when we go to Homestead. This race will define who has a real shot at being a contender and who doesn't. So get ready for the race that might change the complexion of the entire season for one of these three drivers.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and take it on down trackside at this time. I believe the Cactus Cuties are standing by with our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Still sending chills up and down my bones. I'll tell you what, there is no better voices than those young girls from the Cactus Cuties with the national anthem. And of course, a big thank you to the virtual Thunderbirds for that flyby. And I'll tell you what, you talk about some precision flying, the virtual Thunderbirds. You can probably YouTube it and catch some of their action. In the meantime, back out here at Richmond, let's take him down through the grid. CJ LeVere, he's going to start on the pole here tonight. He's in a battle with Marinac and Terrell for a possible championship run here with the Asphalt Assault Series. Stefan Marinac, your points leader. He starts on the outside of LeVere, the number 24 machine. Bobby Terrell starts in his second row in the number 7. Outside him is Marvin Turnmeyer Jr. in the number 16. The 38, that belongs to Mark Bratcher. We know that dude. And on the outside of him in the 33 car is going to be David Lanza. Britt Van Meter, he'll be starting in 7th in the number 27 machine on the outside. That's the 60 car of Daniel Bragg. John Abbott, he starts on the inside in the number 10 car, and outside him in 10th is Doug Roth.
On the inside of row number 6 is Keith Brooks Jr. starting the 78 machine. Outside of him, Stephen Maddox in the 91 starts 12th. Back in row number 7 is Rhett McBride on the inside in the 15 machine. Starting 14th will be Barry Hines in the 57. Back to row number 8 is Jay Randall Watkins in the 77 machine on the inside. On the outside of him, the 26 of Jose Gonzalez starts 16th. Row number 9 belongs to Nathan Bowers, and on the inside, John Wilco on the outside. And in row number 10, it's Augusto Gabaldini in the 666 car. Outside, the 666 car of Brian Harvey starting 20th.
And the tail end of the field is going to start with Frank Coons. He's in the number 48 on the inside. On the outside of him in 22nd position will be the number 81, Steve Almendo. Josh Cheney, he starts in 23rd position in the 5 car on the inside. Outside him from hippiespaintshop.com, Douglas Wyatt, hippie himself, Aaron Grosskopf. He'll be starting 25th, number 25 machine. And right beside him on the outside of the 98, that belongs to Stephen Herring. 160 laps on the board here tonight. CJ LeVere out in front with Stefan Marinac. Who would have asked for a better starting lineup here tonight, as these guys, all 3 of them up here, battle for a championship run here in the Asphalt Assault Series. And I'll tell you what, coming into tonight, Stefan Marinac, he's 8 points out in front of Bobby Terrell. Terrell probably has the best shot at taking the trophy home here tonight. Could be a points upset here tonight by any one of these Cowboys, but hey, we won't know until 160 laps from now.
Absolutely, and I think that's something key that each of these drivers is going to have to remember there, JD. The race is not won on lap 1. It's not won on lap 62. It's not won on lap 128. It's won on lap 160. Whoever's going to walk away with this win, with the points boost, is going to be the driver that is most patient, that's able to take advantage of mistakes made by other drivers, and is able to get in front slowly but surely.
Absolutely, and the pace car coming down here the backstretch for the last time here, come back around, he'll take that left-hand turn down pit road, and CJ LeVere will be picking up the first green flag of his night here at Richmond. The pace car is off, and we are lined up, ready to roll, and it is up and out with LeVere off to a start, the 24 up on the high side. Terrell a little bit slow on a start here as he gets a little bit behind here. Marvin Turnmeyer still up on the top in the 16 machine, but CJ got a pretty good start out here in front with Marinac right behind him in that 24.
Meanwhile, battle is between the 16 and the 33 machine. That is for the 5th place position. It's going to be Marvin Turnmeyer giving up the position of David Lanza. Put Lanza in position number 5. That'll be Turnmeyer in 6th. Rest of the field gets single file for the most part. Next battle is for 15th between the 57 and 26. But even they decide to go back in single file order. Discretion being the better part of valor tonight. Nobody wants to be the first one to bring the first yellow flag out.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Yeah, that's kind of a bad omen there, Cowboy. But, with the season winding down here, these top 3 guys, LeVere, Marinac, and Terrell, we talked to them on the radio show here on Tuesday night, and they're going to be awfully careful from here on out because they know, and we've got our first accident, first spin on the track. Let me roll it backwards here and see who that is. That's going to be the number 98 machine of Stephen Herring. Herring around right there at pit road entry as he spins around, crosses the commit line, and winds up sitting right there on a box on pit road. So first incident of the night here, but I think we're still green.
Still green due to the fact that he spun out straight to pit road and didn't stay out on the track. So we will continue green flag racing out there. Great luck if you're out front. Bad luck if you're the driver of that number 98 machine. You're stuck on pit road getting some repairs done, and he's going to be there for quite a while. That could be the end of his night. Marinac now up in front. He's in the 24 machine. That's going to be the 7 check that's going to be the 7 in second, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but the number 4 of CJ LeVere, he's dropped all the way back to 5th.
CJ LeVere moves all the way back to 5th. That may be a tire-saving move on him. In the meantime, let's roll it back on the rewind here. Looking at the 98, comes off of turn 2, takes the back end around to the inside wall, manages to just slightly tap it, tries to get straightened out, gets back up on the track again, and then loses it again right there at pit road entry. So the 98, Stephen Herring, in big trouble here at Richmond tonight. In the meantime, out in front, it's Bobby Terrell. Remember, he's good at these short tracks. So I think Bobby Terrell may be setting himself up for a win. But in the meantime, points leader Stefan Marinac back there in second. Mark Bratcher, who's been putting on a hell of a fight here in the Asphalt Assault Series, coming on very strong here at Richmond. So, and I know Mark Bratcher is pretty good at these short track races.
Meanwhile, back for that 6th place position, it's a 16 of Marvin Turnmeyer Jr. and the 60 of Daniel Bragg. Daniel Bragg keeps poking his nose out, especially on the front straight. He wants to get around the 16, just doesn't have the gumption to do so yet. He might need a little bit of help from the 43 machine behind him. That's Doug Roth, and he looks like he's going to get that help this time by the 60 and 43 effortlessly get around the 16 on the outside. That's going to be a position for the 60 of Daniel Bragg. Is the 43 going to come along for the ride? Not that time by, but it's only a matter of time now before the 16 and 43 settle it.
Oh, yeah, and it's contact with the 16 and the 43. The 43 is still up on the top side up here. A little bit of confidence shaker there as he made contact with the 16. But the 43 car of Doug Roth, into the wall, taking a souvenir. Roth in big trouble here at Richmond, losing a number of positions, dropping all the way back to 8th. So Doug Roth, really fighting a difficult handling car right now, is in big trouble as he loses another one all the way back to 12th position here. So Doug Roth in huge trouble in that number 43.
The 5 of Josh Cheney will pick up a position out there. He's going to be scored in 16th now. 81 will also pick up a position as well. That's Steve Almendio. He picks up a position. Nathan Bowers drops 2 from 16th to 18th. Back up front, single file is the order of business right now. Bobby Terrell up front, Stefan Marinac second, David Lands a third, Mark Brachter fourth, and here comes CJ LeVere, only 2 car lengths behind that 38 machine. And I got a feeling that LeVere may have backed off as a result of that first incident we saw earlier tonight, but I don't think that's going to hold him back for much longer.
You bet. And, I want to throw a shout out all the way back here in 21st position, the 25 car. That's Aaron Grosskopf, the disabled driver here tonight. He's I believe, a paraplegic and is driving from a wheelchair. So I know he's having a tough night here at Richmond. But I'll tell you what, Cowboy, it's good to see Aaron Grosskopf out here. And he runs a website called DisabledDrivers.com, I believe it is.
DisabledRacers.com, I believe, is a website. And I was actually just on there today. They have a really interesting profile on their website, if you haven't seen it yet, of a Georgia kart champion. That's what it was, Georgia kart champion on their website, who's also a paraplegic, but is finding a way to race with the regulars on the kart circuit all across Georgia. So really inspiring story if you haven't had a chance to go read it yet. DisabledRacers.com. They've got a dream, and it's really only a matter of time before I feel like they're going to actualize it.
Absolutely, and I tell you, it's good stuff. Aaron's involved. In fact, Aaron started that whole thing. Watching the number 5 back here, Joe, Josh Cheney, 17th position back here, really fighting a loose handling car here. If a caution comes out, it may be coming from this number 5, but it looks like he's having a little bit of problem coming off the turns, getting a good entry in, but maybe just throttling up just a little bit too soon coming off, as the 5 car seems to be quite loose as we put 17 laps in the books here at Richmond.
Meanwhile, trouble for the 27 machine. That is, I couldn't get a name on that one. The 27 machine having some trouble coming off turns 1 and 2. Now in 3 and 4, he's going to go way high. That's Britt Van Meter. Some serious problems coming off the turn. He is going to go way high into the wall. Let's see if he does it again here through turns 1 and 2 in the 27 machine. Gonna be, gets a little loose through turns 1 and 2. He's another one fighting a very loose car tonight. He might be another candidate for our first yellow flag.
Yeah, could be. Still watching, kind of keeping a 5 car in the corner of my eye here, too, back here in 16th position. But in the meantime, up in front of him, the contact to 81 and the 16 going around on the backstretch. This may bring our first caution out of the night here. Let me roll it backwards here. I know there was contact with the 16 and the 81 coming down the front stretch here. Going into turn 1 is where I think the contact was made, right in the middle of turn 1, and it sends the 16 right around into the inside wall. And no caution. Caution is out. I'm hearing caution is out.
Caution flag now out on the track. First caution flag on lap 20. And as you look at that replay, this 81 and 16 just look like they got a little caught up there coming off of turn number 2. Not sure if the 16 checked up or the 81 kind of decided to drive over him. In any event, hard racing deal, especially for the 16. He's going to have a little bit of damage on the nose he's going to have to take care of, but he's got plenty of time under this caution flag to deal with it.
I think the 81, Steven Almendo, saw an opportunity, tried to take advantage of it, and just miscalculated getting into the back of the 16, and of course sending the 16 into the wall. But also we're hearing that 16 may have gotten a little bit loose in the turn. So tough night for both these guys, especially that 16.
Definitely a tough night for him as we start making the pit stops happen here on lap 22. The 7 of Bobby Terrell, first one down pit road and into the attention of his crew. At least we take 2 tires for him. Meanwhile, in front of him, Stefan Marinac, TJ LeVere, also electing to at least take the outside tires. Will make a 4-tire stop. The 7 makes it a 4-tire stop. The 24 makes it a 4-tire stop. The 4 does. And the 7, the first one down and away. Bobby Terrell, very fast in, very fast out, and the 4, one of the bigger losers out there, he drops a couple positions. David Lanza comes out second. LeVere will come out third. Stefan Marinac comes out fourth, and they do a little flip-flop there. So Marinac should be scored when we go back to Green Flag Racing in P4. LeVere in the 4 in position number 3.
You bet. And David Lanza finishing second last week at Atlanta Speedway. So David Lanza in that 33 car, he's another one you want to keep your eye on too. Sometimes he'll sit back, you don't know he's there, and then suddenly, 10 laps to go, he's right in your face. So you keep an eye on that 33 car. He can wheel a car with the best of them. But hey, let's talk about Inside Sim Racing. They sponsor tonight's race, the Asphalt Assault Series. And I'll tell you what, they are your first and best choice for all the news and reviews in online motorsports. You can join Darren Ganji and Sean Cole for the latest and greatest in product reviews, simulation auto racing games for PCs and the Xbox crowd. From steering wheels to full-size racing rigs, updates on popular racing games, and a whole lot more. They are the yellow pages of online racing. Inside Sim Racing has it all. Visit them at isrtv.com. And hey, if you missed the 120 minutes of thunder here last week, sponsored by Inside Sim Racing TV, you got to check that one out too. Multi-class car race at Watkins Glen, and that was a ton of fun.
Inside Sim Racing does a whole lot for the sim racing community. And anything they put their name on is absolutely a quality product. You're seeing right here at Richmond International Raceway. ISRTV.com, the website for Inside Sim Racing, sponsoring the Thursday night Real Sim Racing Asphalt Assault Series.
Another commentator joining us in the booth here tonight, Harrison Weidlitz. He would have been here, however, I forgot that he had already sent me a message a few days back, said that he was going to be out of town or busy this evening and probably wouldn't make it back because of some prior commitment that he had with his family. But Harrison joining us in the booth. I know his mic is turned off right now, but we'll bring in here in just a little bit. And I understand that you know Harrison.
I don't know if he really wants to admit that, but Harrison and I go quite a ways back, all the way back to the NASCAR Racing 2003 series days, and it's always a pleasure to see Harry, whether we're crossing paths over at the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship with his writing and coverage, or just even in fun races like this. So Harrison, I know you're listening. Good to see you again, buddy.
Bobby Terrell, he's going to pick up his first green flag of the night here on the restart. The pace car is down pit road, and Terrell gets a huge jump over the 33 on the outside. That's David Lanza, the 4 car of CJ LeVere, right in tow here on the bottom lane here, neck and neck with the 33. 33 getting a little bit loose going into turn 1. Off of turn 2 they come, and Terrell's opening up a huge lead.
Terrell's got a small time zone between him and the rest of the field, but don't count out the 4 of CJ LeVere. He was your pole sitter. He's going to pick up the second position very easily. The 33 of David Lanza, though, none too happy about it. He wants his position back. Not going to happen in turns 1 and 2. The 4 now starting to get a little bit of distance away from David Lanza and the 33, Jose Gonzalez. Stefan Marinak also looking for a window of opportunity there, but as we go single file racing, it might not happen. Caution flag out in the field for the second time tonight.
Yeah, as the caution flag comes out, cycling around looking for it here, maybe deep in the field, maybe Van Meter back here. I'm seeing him off the pace. It is Van Meter, the number 27 machine back here, 25th position, Laura, if we can pull it up on the replay. Hey, it just comes out from underneath him here in the, coming off of turn 2, I believe that is, turns 2, and, actually, yeah, turns 2 here. And he gets it straightened back out. Not sure why the caution came out. Really, he didn't hurt anything. It's not like he stopped dead on the track either, so I'm not quite sure why the caution came out there.
Yellow flag thrown in abundance of caution, and Britt Van Meter was someone we were talking about earlier in this race. You saw him have trouble earlier when he was hitting the wall coming off that same turn, going through 1 and 2. We talked about that in the pre-race show, JD, where we said 1 and 2 was going to be a very hard transition for these drivers to make, coming off the tri-oval and going into that very flat backstretch. That was a stretch we knew was going to be trouble, but we didn't know it was going to be this much trouble for some of these drivers.
Absolutely. And, Richmond's a pretty tough track. I mean, it's not the kind of track you can just come here and lead-foot it on your way around like a lot of the bigger tracks, the mile-and-a-half tracks. But with that in mind, a couple of them down on pit road, the 25, Aaron Grosskopf making a stop, the 62, John Wilco with his stop, and the 78 machine of Keith Brooks Jr. Why don't we go ahead and take our first commercial break of the night. You're watching it live, ETVLive, Cowboy. There is no other choice, so don't wander off. We'll be right back.
It's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4 to the checkered flag. He wins his first Asphalt race. Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
And we are back live here, Richmond Speedway, with the Asphalt Assault Series here tonight. Bobby Terrell is going to be picking up his second green flag of the night, but hey, you're going to watch it side by side here, right along with Tequila Joe and that number 26 machine. That's Jose Gonzalez on the restart. Terrell out in front, Lavere up next to him, Lanza in the back row here with Jose Gonzalez. Stefan Marinac all the way back to 5th position here on the restart. And I'll tell you what, Terrell not getting away as quick as he did the first time around on this last restart, but this one here, the 33 car going around on the backstretch, almost losing it, wicked, but loose on the backstretch. David Lanza hangs on to it, loses a bunch of positions here, Joe.
But the important thing for Lanza is he was able to find a way to get a handle on it and keep it going forward without hitting anything, or more importantly, causing a major incident behind him. David Lanza, great save for the night. He will put him in 7th, but he can still work with that out there on the field. Biggest winner in that one was C.J. Lavere. He picks up the position, so he will move up to 2nd behind Bobby Terrell, still up front in 1st.
Give me a pair of shorts, please. But I'll tell you what, the 60 machine, Daniel Bragg up on the outside in the number 6 machine. He's going to let that 33 go on by him. Probably a smart move on the 60 on Daniel Bragg's move here. But I'll tell you what, with 35 laps in the books, 160 on the board, there's a ton of racing left to do here. Smart move by Daniel Bragg. Hey, you know what? It don't happen until 10 laps to go here anyway. So save your stuff, save your car, keep it off the wall, keep it pointed forward. Daniel Bragg still inside the top 10 with a solid run here tonight. Rhett McBride in behind him in the 15 machine as well. Doug Roth, who had his problems earlier, still inside the top 10 in that number 43 machine. I'll tell you what, Doug Roth, he's had his issues beforehand. Hopefully he learned from that. Maybe a little conversation with the crew chief, got her squared away, and now looking pretty good here at Richmond.
Doug Roth in that 43 machine, running in traffic right now. Looks like he's finally got a handle on that car, and he's trying to figure a way to keep it moving forward. Patience being the key for him and his entire crew. Someone who hasn't that patient, though, is Stefan Marinac. Look at him, though. The 24 machine backed up to position number 3 and immediately under fire from Jose Gonzalez. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Only a car length between each of those drivers, and it looks like the 24th slowly positioning himself to make a move on that 4. Caution out of the field.
And we've got a caution on the track here as we search around here and look for who brought this one out here. Trying to run it backwards here and identify the victim. I'm seeing Aaron, Aaron, it is. It's the 25 machine of Aaron Grosskopf. I think he had a little bit of help, too, coming off that, I believe that's the 48 machine. So, oh, yeah, there it is, the 48 car. Frank Coons gets into the wall, does the ping-pong effect, bounces into the 25, sends the 25 around into the inside wall. So, tough night for both of these Cowboys. That'll bring our 3rd caution of the night here at Richmond.
3rd incident of the night, and for Grosskopf, it was just bad timing all around. 1st and 2nd turns being the bane of everybody's existence out there. This is the 2nd caution flag we've seen as a result, a direct result of that 1st and 2nd turn not being able to handle that transition well. And in Grosskopf's case, there was nothing he could do. The 48 just got straight into the wall, and that was all they wrote. That was it, so bad timing, bad placement, and it, as they say, it is what it is.
And Bobby Terrell looking for some extra points. He stays out on the track. In the meantime, I believe Lavere and Marinac, they both came down pit road. So Bobby Terrell looking for some bonus points up here. He's looking to close the distance, I'm sure, on Stefan Marinac.
C.J. Lavere, Stefan Marinac, Jose Gonzalez, David Lanza, Daniel Bragg and company, all coming down to the attention of their crews. No adjustments to be made on these cars. It's a fixed setup race here tonight, so it's very IROC style racing. Everybody working with the same exact set. The only thing you can adjust is how much you take and how many tires you take and how much you take in the fuel tank. I think these guys looking for a little bit of extra grip, coming down to at least 2 tires each, and with fuel being what it is now, might as well go ahead and take the full can.
Might as well. I'll tell you what, I know a lot of these guys, they experiment with different levels of fuel here in this league, so optimizing their car for the best results. But I'll tell you what, who's missing here tonight is the number 84 car of Jimmy North. I'm going to have to talk to that cowboy. You know Jimmy North. He's my co-host on the Rewind BS and Back Talk radio show every Tuesday night. So I guess, and on Tuesday night we talked about his suspension out of the other series. So I'm not sure if that carried over to this one or not, but Jimmy was suspended for too many cautions in one race, had to sit one out, earn it back. But I'm not sure why the 84 isn't here at Richmond tonight. So I'll have to talk to Jimmy or either that or try to get him in the booth, one or the other. But in the meantime, with 42 laps in the books, Terrell's still out in front. John Abbott moves up to second place. Doug Roth in that 43 machine. I tell you what, this is a tough cowboy at any given track as well. Mark Bratcher hanging out in the top 5, running in 4th. C.J. Levere, he's in 5th position. And Stefan Marinak back here in 6th position. Now, Marinak has probably the best record at short tracks with 2.5 mile. And Terrell, he's got, well, you know what, let's call it both 2 and 2.
And we're hearing under caution.
Go ahead.
Incident under caution. I believe that is the 38 of Mark Bratcher got around during the warm-up lap. Check out the 48 who was just involved in that first incident. That's Frank Coons. He got around once again.
48 definitely having some issues, and he's going around again. The 48 with a very something really going wrong with the 48 as he calls a tow truck and limps that thing back to pit road here. Something very peculiar going on with the 48. It may have something to do with steering settings or something. I don't know, but 48 in big trouble as we've taken the green flag. Terrell out in front with John Abbott, Doug Roth. The 43 up in the wall on the coming off of turn 3. Turn 4 here down the front stretch. Things are getting a little bit shaken up as the 10 machine, John Abbott, sits back here in 6th position, so he lost a bunch on that restart. Jose Gonzalez for the top 5 up here. That's the 26. Doug Roth, rather, in 4th position. Gonzalez in 5th in the 26. All right, well, I'll keep the ball rolling. Bobby Terrell having a pretty decent night tonight, still out in front. Of course, he did not come down for that last pit stop as we work back through the field. David Lanza in the 33 machine, he's all the way back here in 6th position. Stephen Almindo having a decent night in that 81. However, remember, he was involved in that first caution way back on lap 20. That was with the 16 machine and sent the 16 into the inside wall. But let's move back to Mark Bratcher, who had some difficulty here under caution. He's slipping all the way back to 10th position in that number 38 as Doug Roth is around in the 43, and that's going to, and a big wreck here on the right here, and I think this is turn 2. Oh, Roth goes for an e-ticket ride up in the air. The 12 car involved in this. Let's see who else is involved here. I think this is the 77 of Jay Randall Watkins also involved. Let's roll it back here far enough, see if we can't pick up what happened. Looks like Roth might have gotten into the wall early up here. Goes spinning around, bounces off the wall, and unfortunately can't see it coming. And that's what brought the 12 and the 77 into the 43. So I believe this is going to be the 4th caution of the night here at Richmond Speedway. All right, as we watch it live on the replay here from Laura Lawson downstairs, doing an awesome job on the camera tonight. I think somebody unplugged Joe's microphone. All right, in the meantime, let's go ahead and take it to commercial break while we try to plug Joe's mic in. You're watching live on ETVLive, so don't wander off, Cowboy. We'll be right back.
listeners where you can hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETVLive, sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks, HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com.
Well, like Joe just said a minute ago, a little bit of lightning strikes the booth up here, but on the other hand, I'm looking out the window and it's kind of a clear night. I even see the moon up there. Pace car is going to pull off here. It'll be Bobby Terrell picking up, I don't know, what is this, 34 green flags here tonight, but hey, who's counting? CJ Lavere on the outside. Stefan Marinak finally up inside the top 5 as the green flag comes out and we're off and running. Terrell getting an awesome start here on this restart. And that's going to be CJ Lavere trying to hang on the bottom here. There's a 4 car of CJ Lavere gets wicked loose. 24 car I meant on the bottom here. That's Marinak looking to tangle it up here with the 7 of Bobby Terrell. I'll tell you what, this is your 2-point leaders up here. Marinak holds the biggest pile. Bobby Terrell 8 points behind him coming into Richmond here. And I'll tell you what, the fight is on. C.J. Lavere trying to duke it out up here as well. He's the 3rd one we're looking at. It'll be all the way to Homestead for these 3 Cowboys when we get there. But I'll tell you what, with 55 laps in the boots, there's still plenty of racing. 105 to go here at Richmond. Let's take a look a little deeper in the field. Josh Cheney in the 05 machine finally getting it together. Cheney looking pretty sharp here inside the top 10 as he makes it past David Lansley.
Bell still around that number 4 machine. CJ Lavere, they're still fighting behind him. Steve Almondio fighting off Josh Cheney in the 5 machine. Behind them, even more battling going on. The 33 of Lanza holding off the 78 of Keith Brooks Jr. And now they're starting to go single file. Not quite yet as Josh Cheney gets around the 81 machine of Steve Almondio very easily. Almondio not wanting to give that up anytime soon. Tries a crossover. Doesn't work. We are back to racing. John Abbott now under fire immediately from the 26 and the 4. The 4 machine wants to get up front, but he's got to fight traffic. And if you are the driver of the 24 or the 7 machine, this is exactly what you want to see. The more they fight behind them, the harder it is for them to catch up to your top 2.
Marvin Turnmeyer in the 16 car back here. He's sitting here in 14th position. Remember, he had that issue with the 81 way back on lap 20. He's got it together now. Doing a pretty decent job back here. But I'll tell you what, the whole deal here is to keep it on all 4s, keep it pointed in the right direction, and please stay off the wall, Cowboy, because it hurts when you get up in there. And behind him, the 57 of Barry Hines, Nathan Bowers coming along strong in the 03 machine, back here around 15th position. But I'll tell you what, there is a herd of cars in front of Daniel Bragg in that 60 car here. And I'll tell you what, it takes some doings to get around these Cowboys here at Richmond Speedway. 3/4 mile track, short track Saturday night. Whoops, nope, this is Thursday night. But I'll tell you what, we are having some fun here at Richmond Speedway. 3/4 mile track, short track Saturday night. Whoops, nope, this is Thursday night. But I'll tell you what, we are having some fun here at Richmond Speedway. 3/4 mile track, short track Saturday night. Whoops, nope, this is Thursday night. But I'll tell you what, we are having some fun here at Richmond Speedway.
It might as well be a Saturday night showdown the way these guys are driving out here. Terrell still up front, Marinac second, Gonzalez third, and the first two have a huge lead, a time zone in front of the other two. 24, bobbles it through the turn. That's Marinac. He's going to give away to Jose Gonzalez, and Gonzalez has no problem dispatching him from the second place position. Can CJ LeVere do the same thing? Not quite. He will have to settle for fourth, but the door is open. Caution out on the field.
As we cycle around here and look for the victim of this caution, going to take it back to the 48 machine back here sideways on the track. I'm going to roll it backwards here. It might have happened in front of him, though, I'm hearing. The 03 machine here of Nathan Bowers involved. As, it's a couple of incidents here. It's going to be the 03 machine of Nathan Bowers and the 666 of Augusto Galbadoni here. And it looks like the 81 might have gotten a piece of that.
I believe that's 91 that got a little piece of 91. That as well. That's Stephen Maddox. He got a little touch of that one as well. But the 03, the biggest loser on that one, just goes nose first into the wall. And then there comes the 48. Didn't see the incident, or maybe a spotter didn't tell him that it was coming up in front of him. He blows straight through it, gets up into the wall, turns around, and the nose kisses the backstretch wall. So Frank Coons just can't get any luck out here on the field. He's going to continue to limp around in that damaged 48 machine.
You bet. I'll tell you what, Frank's just having a heck of a night here at Richmond Speedway. This is going to be caution number 5, I believe. And kind of a tough night here at Richmond, Joe. This is a tough track. We talked about it pre-race. Difficulty getting off of turns 1 and 2. That seems to be the culprit. But, getting the back end loose here is just seems to be what's going on here.
I'm sorry, pressed the wrong button there. Going into turns 1 and 2 seems to be the definite hard spot of the night, making the transition from turn 2 onto that very flat straightaway seems to be the most difficult place to be out there on the track. As everyone comes down pit road, Jose Gonzalez throws the fake out there, and he will be credited with his first lead of the night, picking up the bonus points towards that ever-important championship. Gonzalez is mathematically eliminated from it, but it doesn't matter. He still wants to get a little TV time here on ETV.
TV time. I'll tell you what, these Cowboys have had, 26 weeks of TV time. It's time to get it wrung out and get it on here. John Wilco down here on pit road for service, 4 tires and fuel for him, or no. How does the Cowboy call it? 4 new shoes and a bucket of oats. The 43 machine, though, guys, if we can get Laura to take a camera shot on the 43, that car is just absolutely tore up. Huge crab walk on the front end of that machine. As Doug Roth, he's going to have a difficult time getting around here at Richmond. In fact, he may become an obstacle for everybody else to chase down here at Richmond. Doug, I'm showing him 3 laps down here. Tons of damage to that 43 machine of his.
Another damaged machine coming down pit road is that number 48 machine. He's got some problems coming as well. He just has not been able to get a handle on that car all night. But going back to the 43, again, wrong place, wrong time, and that's definitely going to hurt him tonight. The 666, another victim of circumstance out here on this track. But that is one of the hazards you inherit driving here at Richmond International Raceway. It's a very difficult track to master. Definitely a difficult track to tame, and if you're not cognizant of what's going on around the track at all times, it can claim you as its next victim.
Absolutely. Hey, one of the drivers we haven't mentioned a whole lot about here tonight, the number 66 machine. Let's put the cameras back on Brian Harvey back here. Brian sits in the top 5 in the overall points. He's 208 back of Stefan Marinac right now, but I'll tell you what, Brian Harvey having a pretty good season here in the Asphalt Assault Series as we get back to green flag racing.
1 hour elapsed in tonight's racing show so far as they get ready to go back to double file racing in just one more lap. When we go back to racing, it'll be Jose Gonzalez in the 26. Takes it to the 16 machine around, so we might be having some more issues.
16 car around back here, 13th position, and the car just gets loose on him. He tries to hang on to it, as CJ did here about 10 or 12 laps ago. Can't get the job done, Cowboy, and winds up going around tagging the inside wall here on the backstretch. So with the 16 car in big trouble here tonight, and he takes a header into the inside wall, so it's going to be a lot of damage on the front end of that machine, as well as probably puncturing the radiator.
Marvin Turnmeyer Jr. in the 16. He's had a tough night all night, and his hard night just gets tougher and tougher with each pass. That might be the end of him tonight. He's had a wicked hard night, and we might not be, his car physically may not be able to take a whole lot more damage. We'll have to just keep an eye on him and see where we're at. We're back under yellow flag for, I believe, the sixth time tonight, and it's good for Jose Gonzalez. He can continue to lead on this field.
You bet. I'll tell you what, that's we call him Tequila Joe here at ETVLive, Jose Gonzalez. He's actually Puerto Rican, but and that's his drink is rum, but we keep teasing him about the tequila stuff. But he's a good guy, Tequila Joe, out there in the 26 machine. John Abbott, I tell you what, John Abbott, he's one that usually he wants to get to the front as quick as possible. When he gets there, he usually winds up staying up there. So John Abbott sitting up there in second position behind Jose Gonzalez, a pretty good run. Bobby Terrell going backwards here a little bit. I believe that was probably due to the last pit stop we had. I think Jose Gonzalez stayed out with Abbott on that last pit stop. But this time around, 70 laps in the books. We're still not quite at the downhill side of this thing here at Richmond yet. But Jose out in front with Abbott, Terrell, Bragg, Stefan Marinak, not doing as well as I thought he might here at Richmond. CJ Lavere, on the other hand, he's still inside the top 10 in 6th position. Josh Chaney, I tell you, in 7th position, worked himself forward, had a little bit of an issue earlier in the race, but Josh Chaney in that 5 machine getting it together and having a good run here with 70 laps in the books.
More importantly, with all these yellow flags, the dynamics are shifting, and now it's a matter of finding somebody to hook up with and make that run up front. Gonzalez and Abbott are up front right now, but restarting behind them will be Bobby Terrell in the 7 machine. He'll restart 3rd. Daniel Bragg will restart 4th. Stefan Marinak, CJ Lavere, 5th and 6th, and behind them, a litany of drivers we've seen in the top 5 tonight, including Josh Chaney, David Lanza, Rhett McBride, and Keith Brooks Jr., who keep threatening to break in. So if you're Tequila Joe up there, if you're driving that number 26 machine, you got to be just a little bit nervous that you've got so much talent behind you. It wouldn't surprise me if he starts off doing some rear view mirror driving instead of looking at the track ahead of him.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and do a plug here. Jimmy North, Evan Pasoko on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. for an hour of rewind, looking back at previous broadcasts on ETVLive, drama and topics too hot to touch. The boys ramp it up in the BS and Back Talk segment, and with thoughts and opinions on some of the hot topics in the online racing arena. It's an all-new show. Actually, it's not a new show anymore. Hell, we're 10 weeks into it, Cowboy. Fun and entertaining. No rules, no BS. Rewind, BS, and Back Talk, 9 p.m. on Tuesdays on ETVLive Radio. And coming into a new feature, we're calling it 10 Laps with Eric Duffy. This is a new segment here on ETVLive Radio's Rewind, BS, and Back Talk. You can hear the first one next Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. So be sure and tune in to Rewind, BS, and Back Talk live on ETVLive Radio. Pace car pulls off. Jose Gonzalez picks up another green flag. John Abbott up on the outside. A good restart for Jose and John Abbott. Bobby Terrell back here in 3rd with Daniel Bragg up on the top side.
The way that 26 took off, you'd think it was alcohol fueled. He got a nice jump on the field. John Abbott only 2 car lengths behind him. And then the championship battle comes into play. Battle is around 3rd place position right now. Check that now, around 5th as a 4 car drops back in traffic. Bobby Terrell, Stefan Marinak find a way through. Josh Chaney follows him through. David Lanza gets through, and Rhett Rabide and C.J. LeVere. C.J. LeVere is the biggest drop out of all of them. He drops from 6th to 9th as a result of just driving in traffic. So LeVere now has to bide his time a little bit and find a way to cut through that traffic, but it shouldn't be too hard. As longer these guys run single file, the more they'll be able to get that run going and make it a little bit easier run for the guys at the back of that train. Check out the turns 1 and 2. Start looks like around the 10 machine, and they continue to run single file.
And all the way back here in 11th position, Daniel Bragg in the 60 machine, he lost a ton of positions too. Remember, he was up there in the top 5 in the restart, but Bragg stuck up on the outside there. Hey, you know, once you get freight trained, it's freight train time. But the 60, Daniel Bragg, having a tough time of it, a little bit loose coming off of turn 2. They're down the backstretch into turn 3 and 4. And I'll tell you what, he's got a herd of cars out there in front of him. Let's move it all the way up to about the 8th position. Keep an eye on that C.J. LeVere running in 7th position right now. And of course, out in front of him is going to be, I believe that's Josh Chaney in the 05. We already talked about him, Cowboy. But hey, let's go back to Marvin Turnmeyer Jr. He's the first car 1 lap down. If the dog comes out, Marvin Turnmeyer can earn that lap back. Doug Roth with the damage on the 43 machine. That sets him back a couple of laps here. Not able to keep that car in tow, in correct tow. It's kind of crab walking across the track here. Sooner or later, he's probably going to become an obstacle out here for the leaders when they come around to him. Augusto Gabaldoni, he sits on pit road in the number 666 machine. Damage to that machine as well. 14 laps down. And of course, Frank Coons in the 48. We've seen his issues here tonight as well.
26 drivers started tonight's race. Only 17 remain on the lead lap. And as you mentioned, that number 16 machine of Martin Turnmeyer Jr., he is running a second off pace. So I think his night is pretty much done for the most part. Another driver having problems out there, Barry Hines. The last lap, he pulled it onto the apron through 3 and 4. Looks like he's still having a little bit of trouble handling that 57 machine going through the turns. He might be another victim here very, very soon. We'll have to keep an eye on him to see where he goes and what happens. Meanwhile, Jose Gonzalez, you'd think he's making the run back to Puerto Rico the way he's driving that machine. He's got 4 car lengths on the 7, but the 7 of Bobby Terrell isn't one to give up anytime soon. He's slowly but surely gaining back on that 26 machine.
You know, you get the 26 machine of Jose's, car out in fresh air. Jose can do wonders with that. But I'll tell you what, he'll be hard to beat for sure. I've seen him do this before. And again, once he gets into clean air, it's pretty much over, Cowboy. You're going to play hell trying to catch up to the 26. Let's bring it on back to about 14th position, the 91 machine. That's Stephen Maddox. Remember, he was involved in caution back on lap 52. So got it scored away back on the track, damage repaired, got the sheet metal pulled out. Still outside of the top 10 here, sitting in 14th, but the Stephen Maddox looks like he's having a pretty decent run here. Just won around Barry Hines in the 57, who was stuck up on the top side. So Richmond Speedway, as difficult as this track is, you know, I'm thinking that the top side here is the place you don't want to be. And some of the tracks like Atlanta, where the top side was actually the prevailing line, looks like, John Abbott almost around coming off of turn 2. See if we can't get a replay of that one, Laura. John Abbott off of turn 2, 7th position, almost going around, as this track is just absolutely claiming victims right and left here tonight, Joe.
Could be a fault in the setup there that nobody anticipated. John Abbott now go back through 1 and 2. Let's go ahead and go back to that replay just a lap ago where you see it. Same exact problem that you saw a lot of people have.
All right, let me pick it up for you, Joe. We just watched the replay of the 10 car. John Abbott having an issue here a couple of laps ago, but he's got it squared away, back in his saddle again, as hearing the caution coming out again here tonight at Richmond. And they seem to be coming lickety-split, looking for the victim here as we cycle around through the cars. All right, we're still looking for the caution here. Might have been. I'm seeing a 16 coming down pit road, but I didn't see. Yes, it was a 16 car. It's going to be Marvin Turnmeyer Jr. He goes for an E-ticket ride here going into turn 1. Comes off turn. Actually, there's 2 incidents. The 66 machine probably is the one that brought the caution out. That's going to be Brian Harvey on the backstretch here, Laura. So we're maybe looking at a couple of issues here. Looks like the 66 might have gotten a little bit loose and then got the punt from the 81 of Almindo. So Almindo turns the 66 machine around, but then I saw the 16 car going for an e-ticket ride here as well. Don't know if that was a residual. Yes, it was residual from the initial contact with the 66. 66 bounces back up the track. Here comes the 16 right into the 66, and around she goes for a double axle down the backstretch. And I think, I don't know, we may be doing this solo for now. I think somebody keeps tripping over Joe's microphone cord for some reason. So with that caution underway, let's go ahead and send it to commercial break. You're watching live on ETVLive, so don't wander off. We'll be right back. Hey, JD here with ETVLive, and let me tell you something. If it's too big for the pickup truck and you need to move it, there's only one trucking company you need to call, and don't bother with the Yellow Pages Cowboy. I'll give you that number in a minute. Manufactured goods, automotive, technical equipment, furniture, even if you need a reefer, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated is the only choice, Cowboy. With locations in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, Rancho Cucamonga, California, if you need to move it, store it, and keep it cold, you need to call Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated. Long haul, short haul, or just across town, Gary Mercer has the best trained and qualified drivers to get your load from point A to point B with professionalism and on time. So remember, Hoss, if it don't fit in a pickup truck, you're going to need a real truck, Cowboy. Sponsors of ETVLive's Friday Night Showdown, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated, 1-800-668-2980. And we are back live, and I apologize for missing the green flags. Having a little bit of technical difficulty here. Somebody keeps tripping over Joe's microphone cord. Barry Hines picks up the green flag on the restart, but then within a couple of laps has an issue and gets passed by a number of cars here. Drops all the way back to 7th position. So in the meantime, Bobby Terrell back out in front with Stephen Marinak in the 24 machine. He's chasing him down. Jose Gonzalez in the 26. Tequila Joe still hanging out in the top 5 up here, giving up the lead on pit road here, and that was back on lap, I believe, 60 or 80. or 90. I think it was lap 90, and a big wreck here. But back out on the track here again. C.J. Levere hanging out in the top 5. David Lanza in 5th position. Rhett McBride moves up to the top 10 in the 15 car. Good to see him up here in the front. Keith Brooks Jr. in the 78 having a good night as well. And I'll tell you what, with 96 laps in the books, we're on the downhill side now, Joe. So hang in there, bud.
On the downhill side, but no closer to figuring out who's going to end up winning this race. A lot of great guys still in the group, still in the field, and it's still anybody's race at this juncture. We're just barely past halfway, and it can only get better from here.
You bet. And Steve Bonesteel hanging out in the booth with us tonight. You don't know who Steve Bonesteel is. He's the ETVLive journalist, and he comes in with the Asphalt Assault series and writes some pretty good articles for us here on ETVLive. So always good to see Steve Bonesteel along for the ride. And I'll tell you what, pretty much single file all the way back to about 12th position back here. That's Stephen Mattox again in the 91 machine. But then the 60, Daniel Bragg back here. Remember, I think he was involved in a caution as well here. Oh, we got one going around on the front, around the back stretch. Another caution coming out, the 91 involved. This happened right in front of him. Actually, it happened way out in front of him, way up the track. Looks like it's going to be John Abbott, the 26. Stefan Marinak involved. Wow, I'm not sure. I've got to really roll this one backward. This happened way up front. It looks like it's going to be a 24 machine of Stefan Marinak who's going to bring the back end of his car around. And then Jose Gonzalez on 26, he takes a bite out of the 24. And also here comes the 15 car of Rhett McBride. He almost gets a chunk out of it. Wow, what an upset here at Richmond tonight.
Definitely an upset. This is not what any of these guys want to see out here on this field. They want to at least go a little bit longer, green flag running, and being able to try to stretch out these cars for what it's worth. But a lot of drivers have got that hard transition, 1 to 2, and then 2. Makes a keg that can explode.
Hey, and we're still having some major issues with Joe's mic here tonight. But I'll tell you what, I think the gist of it is we got a lot of carnage here out of this particular yellow, and of course Jose Gonzalez involved in that. The points leader Stefan Marinak involved as well. So I tell you, a lot of damage to some of these cars. Front runners up here, and Marinak again just losing it. We talked about it in pre-race. You know, these guys come off turns 1 and 2, and the back end just gets loose and comes around on them. So I'll tell you what, Marinak may be in big trouble here tonight at Richmond as he gets it squared away and inches that thing down into pit road to get some repairs on it. But I tell you, Bobby Terrell's sitting out there in front, probably looking in his rearview mirror thinking, hey, that's cool. All right, I don't know if Steve Bonesteel is along for the ride up here with us or not. Steve, did you get hooked up, bud?
Well, it looks like I signed up for a pretty exciting ride here. I hear quite a few technical difficulties, and I'm not sure if our broadcasting partner died or what's going on, but I guess I'm here for it.
Yeah, we're having some major issues with Joe's microphone over there. Of course, I don't know if somebody keeps tripping over the plug or what's going on, but Joe, you still with us, bud?
JD, I think that electricity strike we had earlier has done something to my rig here because it keeps going in and out, but welcome to big time racing, as they say.
You know what? And like I said, yeah, coming from Laura whispering in my ear down there, if it can go wrong, it will go wrong. What do they call that? A mulligan or what do they call that? Murphy's Law, damn it. All right.
Yeah,
But,
Murphy is alive and well in the booth tonight.
Yeah, and those of you that think you want to get involved with this internet broadcasting thing, don't.
Actually, funny story, JD. One of my mentors in broadcasting a long time ago gave me some very good advice. He said, if you ever think about being addicted to broadcasting, do heroin. It's easier to quit.
There you go. Hey, lights are off on the pace car this time by. He's going to pull down pit road. Terrell out in front with Lanza, Brooks, and Abbott. And Red McBride taking a peek on the top 5 up here on the restart. Josh Cheney, again, in that 5 machine, having a decent night here at Richmond. Green flag is out, and Terrell does not get away as quick as he thought he would. But David Lansdowne, 33, right there with him, right on the bumper, looking for a way around the 7, right from the get-go. Can't get the job done, but hey, look backwards here, 3rd position, the 78 machine. Keith Brooks Jr., with one, we got one on the wall again. Caution, I believe, is out. No caution.
No caution, but the 24 machine did go over the wall. He got booted by the 16, and we need to get a replay on this one. He goes barrel rolling over the wall and is in the infield. The 24 machine, Stefan Marinak, that's going to hurt him, not only here, but in points. He pulls him behind the wall. He is done for the night. Get a replay on the 24 machine as soon as we can. That's amazing.
Looking at it now, and I'll tell you what, he doesn't do just a double axle down the backstretch. He does one of those pirouettes in midair. And looking back at the strike from the 16, looks like the 16 car just gets out of shape. The 24 tries to come along on the inside, can't put it together. And then that sends the 24 into the inside wall. And now we have another caution, apparently.
It's a 38 and 48 and 666 all involved here on going into turn number 1. 3 cars out there, and it looks like it starts around the 38 and the 666. The 38 goes around, and it looks like he had some assistance from that 666 machine. Both of them fighting for the same real estate. That will bring out caution once again on this field.
And the 38, it looks like the, for some reason, the 6.6, the 666 just comes down the track right up to start-finish line going into 1 and just takes the 38 out for some reason. Not quite sure what that was all about. That's kind of difficult to explain there. I'm not quite sure what was going on with the 666 car. Bratcher having a good run here tonight, just hanging on to his own, but suffers quite a bit of damage from that one. And I've lost count, Laura. How many cautions are we at?
Laura's, while she works on the replay, we'll have to get an official tally from her later on. The biggest winner in all this, however, is Bobby Terrell and CJ Levere, with Marinak off the field. And it looks like Marinak's going to be scored somewhere around the 16th position. This opens the door wide for Bobby Terrell in that number 7 machine and the 4 of CJ Levere.
All right, as I think Laura has it pulled back up on the replay, watching it again with the 6.6, the 666, whatever, coming down off the top side in there into the 38. But tough night for both of these guys, especially Mark Bratcher. Bratcher's working so hard, this season, and just a tough night for Mark. But I tell you, what a night here at Richmond Speedway. This is not typical racing from these guys. So either there's a full moon out, and I'm looking up at the sky. I think that's a full moon right there going down into turn 1, if I'm not mistaken. But the full moon must be out somewhere.
We've had a full moon tonight. We've had electrical strikes tonight. Anything that can happen will happen at Richmond. I think it's got to be something in the corn they grow out here. 9 cautions, 41 laps. Across 41 laps, 6 lead changes in tonight's race. It has just been a wild ride, and that doesn't even include the problems we've had here in the booth. That's just out on the track. And I've got a feeling that these guys aren't done fighting and going back and forth for position just yet.
Yeah, this is Laura chiming in down there from the trailer. This is old school, and yeah, you're probably right. This is about as old school as it gets. I remember watching this kind of racing back in the day, 60s, 70s, back in that day. And no, I'm not that damned old. Well, yeah, I guess I am. But I'll tell you.
We're gonna do some carbon testing to verify that claim.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know what? They call me the cowboy, and I'm just an old cowboy from Colorado, and I don't know. This is all John Westling's fault. He's the one that got me started in this stuff. And like I said, I mean, to all the little ones out there, if you think you want to get involved in this internet broadcasting stuff, please don't. You have no idea. Let us suffer the headaches. We don't need any more victims of this stuff. But Laura. You know what? We should just bring Laura up here in the booth. Anyway, lights are off on the pace car. Yeah, we might have to.
Yeah, things keep happening. It just may have to happen tonight.
Lights are off on the pace car. Terrell out front with Lanza, and not a lot's changed up here. Bobby Terrell out front. Okay, so what? Big deal. Rhett McBride hanging out in third. Josh Cheney, LeVere. Not a lot has changed since the last caution we had. Green flag is out. Terrell gets a good run. Puts the 33 and the 15 down here on the bottom, side by side, going into turn one. Terrell's all by himself up there. But I'll tell you what, the 33 is David Lanza actually going backwards here up on the top side. He's going to lose a number of positions coming alongside the forward. CJ LeVere. Daniel Bragg in the 60 car still hanging tight up here with Steve Almindo behind him. Score one for Steve Almindo that lap as they still go side by side through turn two.
David Lanza has been looking strong on the high line all night. This time, not so much, as he's going to lose some positions. He still hangs out in fifth. CJ LeVere up in front of him in fourth. Josh Cheney now in the top five for the first time tonight. It looks like we had a little trouble on the track there.
60 car going around, almost going around. Daniel Bragg here almost losing it. Takes a chunk out of the wall. We call that a souvenir here on ETVLive. Gets wicked loose off turn four and gets that souvenir right there to start finish line. So the 60 going backwards now. That's Daniel Bragg. But I'll tell you what, looking backwards here a little bit, Doug Ross still hanging tight out there. You talk about perseverance. Roth in that 43 machine, who had a ton of damage on it. Of course, these pit stops have been fortunate for him, as he works hard to stay on the lead lap in that 43 machine. So we've still got a little bit of a crab walk to it. The toe is severely out on that car, but hey, he's hanging tight here at Richmond Speedway. John Wilco, he's the last car on the lead lap, almost 12 seconds behind the leader. That's just about, maybe 3/4 of a lap here at Richmond Speedway. So in the meantime, it's Terrell out front with McBride now in the 15 machine, looking at the bumper of that number 7. Josh Cheney in the 5 car, looking pretty sharp too.
Caution out once again on the field, and it looks like it's going to be around that 60 machine of Daniel Bragg. You called him out just a moment ago, and I think gave him the TV jinx, JD. Not able to keep it going straight through turns 1 and 2, and once again the Widowmaker strikes. Daniel Bragg comes out, and that will be the 10th caution of the evening.
You've got looking at it on the replay here. Has good. It looks like he's got a good run going into the turn, but maybe he just, a little bit too much horsepower. Starts the turn a little bit too early. Around comes the back end of the machine, stays off the wall, and I'll tell you what. I don't know who that was that just got by him, but you talk about squeaking by. I'm going to try to roll it backwards here, slow it down, and see who that was. The 77 machine. I'll tell you what, take a look out of the windshield of that car when he comes by, Laura. The 77 car, that's going to be Jay Randall Watkins, and see what he sees through his windshield coming after it. Nothing but smoke, and when it clears, it's the red number 60 just sitting inches off the 77 when it goes by. But a tough night here at Richmond Speedway for sure, and I've lost count on the cautions.
This would make caution number 10 there, boss.
Wow. 10 cautions here.
That is the same exact words I would use to explain it. Wow. A lot of fierce, tough driving tonight between all of these drivers. Bobby Terrell and Rhett McBride electing not to come down pit road. John Abbott and Mark Brachter also elected not to come down. The first one, I believe, on down was the 78 machine of Keith Brooks. CJ Lavere came down. David Lanza came down. Josh Cheney needed to come down to get new tires. You saw him having troubles coming off of turn 2 and managing that high line on the front stretch. So hopefully 4 brand new sticker Goodyears underneath him will keep him going forward and going in the right direction and avoid any brushes with the wall.
How about HD Radio Network, home of the ETVLive Radio, and the HD Radio Network gives you a variety of stations to choose from, including Big 80s Metal, all HDR Classics, the HDR Country, and a whole lot more. Read the script, damn it. Take your pick and rock your brains out, dude. HD Radio Network stations are featured on iTunes Radio, TuneIn Radio, and we're also listed on the no more margaritas for that, man. I tell you what, stuff coming out of the trailer down there. I need to find a way to unplug her microphone. Anyway,
listen today at HDRadioNetwork.com or take it with you. Get the mobile app at TuneIn.com, the HD Radio Network, home of ETV Live. Sorry, JD, I'll give you the assist on that one.
All right, I'll tell you, I have no idea what's going on track down there, but 10 cautions later, we're having a good old time up here in the booth, if nothing else. Hey, on the get-go here, it'll be Bobby Terrell. I have no idea how many green flags he's got laying on the front seat with him up there, but Rhett McBride in the 15 machine, you know, it's not often we see Rhett this far forward this late in the race. You know, and it's Rhett McBride having a pretty decent run here tonight at Richmond. But, you know, Rhett McBride in that 15 machine, along with, up until a couple of cautions ago, Mark Brachter, guys like him, even Brian Harvey in the 66 was having a decent night. He got caught up in a few things. But, you know, going back down here in the field, I'm trying to find somebody who has not been involved in a caution yet, and it's kind of hard to do.
Just look for the cars that have not been damaged out there, mostly because those cars are going to be the ones that have been able to stay clean. And as I said before, at the onset of this race, if you're going to be able to stay clean, if you're going to be able to keep it moving forward, that might be all it's going to take to keep going and keep winning this race. Bobby Terrell up front, McBride on the outside, John Abbott, Mark Brachter, Keith Brooks, CJ Lavere, Josh Taney, Brian Harvey, and Steve Almindo run out your top 10 as we get ready to go back green flag racing.
And by now, Bobby Terrell's got to know that the 24 machine has had his night here at Richmond as he gets a good start over Rhett McBride. And I'll tell you what, Bobby Terrell's showing his stuff here. John Abbott back to the front, Cowboy, as he runs down the number 7. John Abbott having a good run here at Richmond. Abbott sits 6th in the points here. He's 212 back. He could move up and overtake Brian Harvey. He's only about 4 points off of that number 5 spot in the points. So Abbott looking to move up one more position at least before the end of this thing when we get to Homestead Miami Speedway in 9 more races. In the meantime, Terrell's still out in front with Abbott chasing him. Lavere, McBride, and Brooks on the hunt here in the top 5.
35 laps left to go. When we cross the start-finish line, it'll be Bobby Terrell up front. CJ Lavere now finds his way up to second. Four brand new tires underneath him, and he's got a lot of pep underneath that number 4 machine, so he might be battling for the lead here very, very quickly. John Abbott in 3rd, Rhett McBride 4th, Keith Brooks Jr. trying to keep a handle on it in 5th in the 78 machine. He will get passed by the 5 of Josh Cheney. Josh Cheney wasting no time getting around him, so the 5 gets up to position number 5, and the 78 might lose position, the 81 this time around.
And rounding out the top 10 here is John Wilco back here in 10th position in that 62 machine. And he may have just given one up to Barry Hines here in the 16. Or no, that's actually Barry Hines is a lap down. So that's going to put Wilco still in 10th position here, still on the lead lap. J. Randall Watkins in the 77 also on the lead lap. And Doug Roth and Daniel Bragg is the last car in the lead lap. But John Wilco in the 62 having a pretty decent run here late in the game. 128 laps in the books. We are definitely on the downhill side of things here at Richmond Speedway.
And nobody knows that better than CJ Lavere on the number 4 machine. He just got around the 7 of Bobby Terrell just a lap ago, and he's going to lead this race once again for the first time and hopefully in his mind for the last time as they cross the stripe. Lap 130 now on the board, 31 left to go. CJ Lavera wants to lead the next 31. Bobby Terrell wants to take it away from him. But no matter what happens at this juncture, I can guarantee you one thing. Bobby Terrell will walk away from tonight's race as your new points leader.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, like I said in the pre-race, we had Lavere, Terrell, and Stefan on the radio show here Tuesday night. Talk to him about, the remainder of the races. Of course, we'll be bringing them in live on the ensuing episodes on Rewind BS and Back Talk as the season continues. But, these guys, they weren't real thrilled about coming to Richmond, either one of them, all three of them. And if anybody that's going to have a successful night here tonight, we thought it was going to be Stefan Marinak. But Marinak is a front runner with short tracks under his belt, but not going to be his night at all for sure, Joe, like you said. So, Lavere almost losing it sideways here. Comes off turn 4 here. A lot of smoke coming off the right rear of that tire as he almost loses it right here coming up at turn 4 with Terrell behind him, chasing him down across the start-finish line. Terrell putting on the move up on the top side. He may take it away from Lavere, and he is still fighting neck and neck down the backstretch as Lavere is going to give it up to Bobby Terrell.
Bobby Terrell looking to make it 2 for 2 in consecutive weeks. Can he do it this time? Can he make it 2 for 2? Only time will tell as we continue to tick the laps down. Currently scoring lap 134, 27 left to go here on the field. Terrell leading Lavere by at least 3 car lengths. The battle for points now is settled between these 2 cars tonight. John Abbott still in the mix. He's out in third and a litany of other cars behind him. But right now, all eyes. 60 around. Trouble on the track. That's Daniel Bragg. He will bring out the 11th yellow flag of the night, sitting there in the middle of turns 1 and 2. The replay's going up now. Let's watch what happens as a 60 goes around to bring out another yellow flag.
And again, the Demon sitting down there in turn 2 just loses it, and the back end comes around, and away she goes. Does a little double axle there in the middle of the track. Sits still on the top side up here, let all the traffic come by, and then he'll pull it down and get on down to pit road, get some new, fresh rubbers on that machine. But 11, I think you said, 11 cautions here at Richmond tonight, 160-lap race. 135 in the books, and we're on the short side of things. Let's step away, take a commercial break. I need to refill my margarita, cowboys, so don't wander off. We'll be right back.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4 in the checkered flag. He wins his first Asphalt highlight.
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Welcome back to ETV's live coverage of the Asphalt Assault Series with Real Sim Racing here at Richmond International Raceway. Let's go ahead and go back there a moment to a view of that car. That's the 60 machine of Daniel Bragg. You're watching right now inside his car as these cars just zoom by right past him, one after another, and I think I even saw the 38 of Mark Brachter almost have a close call with him. That was a very scary moment, not only for him, but all the other drivers involved. All it took was one driver not paying attention, and the next thing you know, they would have been going around and around with him.
Absolutely. Mark Brachter, number 38, he finds himself up here on the front row on the restart up here next to the 7 machine. So I know what's up Mark's sleeve. He's looking for an excuse to talk to the Cowboy up here in the booth after the race. CJ LeVere, however, he sits back here in fourth. You know what? All he has to do is just finish the race here tonight and get this thing over with. That would be what I would be thinking if I was, in the points running here with these guys. Remember, Marinak, Terrell, and LeVere. It's going to come all the way down to Homestead, Miami before this thing is settled. Green flag is out. Terrell gets a good run on the field here with Mark Brachter and LeVere a little bit late on the throttle. John Abbott losing a couple positions here on the restart here. That's Stephen Almendo in the 81 that goes past him. The 38 on the outside with the 81 on the bottom here down the backstretch. That top side should prevail here a little bit coming off the turn. The 81 jumps back in the throttle. Careful now, Cowboy. You don't want to bring the butt end of that machine around on you. I could say ass end, I guess. It's ETVLive. What the hell? John Abbott down here on the bottom of the 38. Now, Abbott looking for a good finish here, too. He's looking to duke it out with Brian Harvey and Rhett McBride here. Abbott looking for at least another position before this thing's over with in 9 more weeks. So Abbott having a good run here, too. The 78 of Keith Brooks Jr. still inside the top 10, Joe. Rhett McBride right behind him in the 15.
Rhett McBride right behind him, not wanting to give away any position. Meanwhile, back up front, we have a new leader. It's CJ LeVere. He takes away the lead in convincing fashion. Once again, going down pit road to get sticker tires, and I guarantee you he's going to drive them for everything they're worth. Almondito second, John Abbott third, and the battle is now for fourth between the 78 and 7. 2 by 2, they go into turns 1 and 2. The 78 of Keith Brooks Jr. gets past Bobby Terrell in the 7. The 15 of Rhett McBride. He's not willing to give it up yet. He's going to get around the 7 as well. And here comes the 38 of Mark Brachter. He's going to turn tragedy into comedy as he wants to get around the 7 and pick up potentially a top 5 finish tonight.
Something terribly wrong with the 7 machine of Bobby Terrell. Oh, the 15 almost gets loose off of turn 2. Terrell having some kind of issue with that machine of his as he has lost position after position all the way back to 6 to 38 Mark Brachter. He's looking to duke it out with the 7 machine up there as well. So I'm not quite sure what's going through the mind of Bobby Terrell right now, but something is definitely wrong with that car. Terrell should be up there in front with CJ LeVere. CJ LeVere pretty much walking away with it from this standpoint, and John Abbott moves up into second. So don't know whether somebody, maybe his crew chief, told Bobby Terrell that, hey, Marinak is done for the night. You're safe. Just, hey, keep it on all fours and finish this damn thing and let's go home, or what's going on here. But Bobby Terrell going backwards here for the first time tonight at Richmond Speedway. And I'll tell you what, Cowboy, it ain't over yet. 147 laps in the books, and we are definitely winding this thing down, Joe. But there's only a handful of cars left on lead lap all the way back to the 5 of Josh Cheney. That's 12 out of 26. Oh, almost getting loose. 5 car almost breaking loose off of turn 2.
That 5 car avoiding tragedy once again, and these guys have really been narrowly able to keep these cars moving forward. It almost losing it again, going off turns 4. The 5 nearly making contact with the wall once more. Let's see what he does here in turns 1 and 2. Going through the curve, the 5 almost scrapes the wall. Josh Cheney is not in a good place right now. He needs to figure out what he needs to do in the next 12 laps or so if he wants to try to get it back around. Meanwhile, 11 laps left as they cross the start-finish line. It is the CJ LeVere show as he continues to lead up front. John Abbott second, Steve Almondito third, Rhett McBride fourth, Keith Brooks Jr. fifth, and your new points leader Bobby Terrell stuck in sixth.
77 machine, Jane Randall Watkins back here, 10th position, almost lost it about a lap ago, coming off of turn 2, gathers it back up again, hoping for a top 10 finish here. Remember, Doug Roth, a lot of damage to that 43 machine, sitting in 11th position, no threat to Jane Randall Watkins, who will probably wind up with a solid top 10 here tonight from Richmond. And I'll tell you what, the 26 machine, 51 laps ago, has to go back on the hauler and headed for the barn. Tequila Joe, the 26, pretty much out of it here tonight at Richmond. Too bad for that team. But C.J. LeVere leads the race right now with Abbott chasing him down here at Richmond. Rhett McBride having an outstanding run here with Keith Brooks Jr. as well. Bobby Terrell drifts back to 7th or 6th position here. And I'll tell you what, I don't know whether this is a planned thing on Terrell's. Somebody's had to have told him that Marinac was out of the running. But why would you let C.J. LeVere run away from the race here tonight? Hey, unless he's being a good cowboy and saying, here you go, just get after it. But something's up with that number 7 machine, and I don't know what.
7 laps to go on the field. Rhett McBride gets around the 81 of Steve Almondio. He's going to go back to position number 4. The 15 of McBride now up to 3rd. Bobby Terrell in a better position. He gets around Keith Brooks Jr., and he should at least finish with a top 5 as they cross the stripe. 6 laps left to go. And the question is there anybody left that can answer to C.J. LeVere? John Abbott, 10. He's closing in right now. He's only about 2.5 car lengths behind. If anybody has a chance to steal it, it could be John Abbott.
Abbott running about a 10th off of C.J. LeVere's lap times up here, trying to close the distance in the closing laps here. And that's actually Steve Almindo in the 81 car back here, Joe. But I tell you, Abbott looking to hunt down C.J. LeVere in the closing laps as we put almost, what do we got, about 4 laps to go here on my clock. And I'll tell you what, C.J. LeVere not looking backwards. John Abbott, on the other hand, trying to put something together and has now backed off. And Abbott almost losing it off of turn 2 here. I'll tell you what, that's got to shake up the confidence here just a little bit. Rhett McBride still holding his own here in the top 5. In 3rd position, the 15 car doing a good job here at Richmond tonight for sure.
3 laps to go at this juncture. John Abbott had so much forward potential going through that last cycle, but in the last 2 laps, he got it stuck on the outside line, couldn't make it work, and now he's got a lot of work to do. I don't think enough work for him to make it in 2 laps. C.J. LeVere, the door is open, popsicle sticks in the air, 2 to go. C.J. LeVere could very easily walk away from it. By 3rd, Almindo 4th, and Bobby Terrell rounding out your top 5. Bobby Terrell has a chance to catch Almindo if he plays it right the next lap and a half.
Coming by to take the white flag, C.J. LeVere crosses the stripes, and he will pick up the white flag here tonight. 1 to go. And I'll tell you what, it's a no-sweat deal for him. John Abbott is way off the pace here, 6th, almost a half a second behind C.J. LeVere, so the threat will not come to the 4 car here tonight. Coming through turns 3 and 4 for the last time at Richmond Speedway tonight, it belongs to C.J. LeVere. He will win here tonight at Richmond Speedway for the Asphalt Assault Series. John Abbott with a solid 2nd place run here tonight. Rhett McBride will finish 3rd.
And what an incredible race we have just witnessed. Despite all the craziness in the booth, despite the 12 caution flags on the field, we were able to make it work for a while. Now more drama on the track in the 66 and 30, 62 and 38. Looks like they got in a little trouble out there as the 62 spun the 38. Never mind, standings are still official. Mark Brachter will finish 8th, John Wilco 9th. So to round out your top 5, LeVere, Abbott, McBride, Almindo, Terrell, your top 5, and the 4's doing the donuts in celebration. He starts on the pole. He will finish it tonight. Well done for the man in 3rd.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there with the 62 and the 38, whether that was just a little bit of payback or what. I got a funny feeling the little red trailer downstairs here at Asphalt Assault Series is going to be kind of busy with that. So I don't know, drama sells, and certainly we'll have to find out more about that. But I'll tell you what, as the 4 of C.J. LeVere celebrates right there on the front stretch, let's take it to commercial. When we come back, the post-race show from Richmond Speedway, so don't wander off. We'll be right back. And we are back live here at Richmond Speedway, the Asphalt Assault Series, sponsored by Inside Sim Racing TV. And I'll tell you what a let's call it a difficult night at Richmond. And I tell you, I think it's been about 47 cautions later. CJ LeVere picks up the trophy, but hey, who's counting? CJ, we had you on the radio show on Tuesday night. We knew coming to Richmond was going to be a little bit difficult, but dude, what did you have to do to get there?
It was very very difficult. I can't even talk. Had a lot of stuff to go through. I got involved in a little bit of a lap car incident and got some damage, and pretty much had to work to get the car fixed until those last couple little green flag runs where cars started to come along, and I got lucky with the tires.
Judging by a lot of these guys having a very difficult time here at Richmond, it seemed to not phase the number 4 car at all here tonight. So was there some kind of a secret, or did you have a strategy coming into tonight's race? Talk about what it was that kept you up in the front row all pretty much all night long, in the top 5 at least.
There's a secret. It's called Fearless Racing Team, and Jose Gonzalez and Stefan, Steven, we work together, get these, we're all up front, and when you have a big team and you work together, things happen. If it wasn't for Jose coming in the last minute, giving me a little helper out on a little breaking points and such, we wouldn't be here.
Tequila Joe, Jose Gonzalez. And CJ, we had you and Terrell and Marinak on the radio show here on Rewind BS and Back Talk. We talked about the effort that you guys got to put in coming into Richmond here tonight, and of course the rest of the season. This is going to bring you a little bit closer, closing the distance on Stefan Marinak, who had his troubles here tonight. So how does that make you feel?
I hate to see him have any troubles, him or Bob. We got a lot of fierce competition, and a lot riding on it all season, and to get in the wreck, it kind of sucks to get it that way, but it's kind of what we needed, and we definitely made up some ground. I hate to see that, but it's not over yet. Them guys are all right there, and it's just going to make it more exciting.
2 teammates going to take it all the way to Homestead here. Who makes it happen for you here, CJ?
I got to thank Axel Sanitary for sponsoring my car, Hippie's Paint Shop, Mobile One, ETV, Real Sim Racing, Bob Rowe Race Seats, Inside Racing TV. But there's so many people that make things go on. John, there's a lot of work that goes into this league racing, and appreciate everybody that does all the hard work.
Picking up the trophy from Richmond Speedway tonight, CJ LeVere in the number 4 car. I'm going to send it on down the line just a little bit. I believe Joe Cortez, he's caught up with our number 2 finisher here tonight, the driver of that number 10 machine, John Abbott.
John Abbott finishing second place tonight on this field. John, you started 9th. When the green flag flew, were you thinking at all, with all these yellow flags, all these cautions and wrecks, were you thinking that second place was in your car tonight?
Could you get any of that, John? I know we've been struggling
like that microphone
with Joe's mic. Do it again, Joe.
John Abbott, is it working for you now?
Yeah, something must be up with John Abbott's mic. Maybe somebody tripped over his. John Abbott, you got us, bud? Maybe he doesn't realize he finished second. Hey, let's move on down to Rick McBride. We'll come back to Joe.
Wait, we got him.
Hello?
There we go.
John
Hello.
It's getting crazy
sorry about
up in
that.
here.
Yeah, I heard the question. Sorry about that, guys. I thought I was on Skype, but anyway, I was surprised that we had the cautions that we did. I thought we would have maybe 2 or 3, and this race would come down to green flag. So basically, it just became musical chairs on the stops. You'd have a group would stop, and then they would move to the front when the other group would stop. So it just, and one of those deals, I feel bad for my teammate Bobby Terrell. He and definitely the class of the field, I thought, and it just hit him at the wrong time there at the end on that last pit stop.
John, tonight's race was definitely a gladiator's run through the Coliseum. What did you do? What was you and your team able to do so well that kept you going forward and kept you out of the trouble? Was it pit stop strategy? Was it mileage run? What was it that made your team get to this point where we're at tonight?
Yeah, again, the strategy was tough. I mean, it was just, the cautions were flying about every 10, 15 laps. So, just enough time but in between where tires could make a difference. But with Bobby being up front most of the race, he helped me time the starts. And of course, that's where you can make up most of your grounds on the start. So that really helped tonight. And I want to thank him for that. As far as the trouble, yeah, I did a lot of give and take through the race. And, of course, became more aggressive toward the end there.
Looking at the rest of your schedule coming up, you've got Chicagoland, Loudon, Dover, Kansas. You've got a lot more short tracks coming up, and then you've got the couple of intermediate tracks and one super speedway. With so many different tracks coming up in the next 10 races, how do you mitigate it? How do you prepare yourself for the just different racing styles you're going to see from tonight?
Well, first of all, I'm pretty much out of the points. I'm battling one or two drivers, but it's coming down between basically three drivers in the championship. So my goal is just to win a race. That's my main goal before the year's out, and then help my teammates and Bobby Terrell win the championship.
With tonight's race, Terrell does pick up the points lead. What do you and the team got planned for him to keep him up front?
Well, just communication, just trying to let him know what's happening on the track at different times and what other people are doing as far as strategy. That's about all we can do. And then maybe some other than that, he's got the driving down pat.
John Abbott, who makes it work for you and the 10 team?
Well, you guys at ETV and LSR TV, we really appreciate what you do. Inside Sim Racing TV, hippiespaintshop.com for sponsoring the series. iLeagueRace.com, they're on my car tonight. They handle our driver management program here at RSR. And, of course, Bob Earl Virtual Chassis on Monday night. And my teammates at Stroke Race.
Coming from ninth, finishing second. Not a bad haul for the evening. John Abbott finishing second tonight in the number 10 machine. John, good run tonight, buddy.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Take it back over to JD, who's caught up with our third place finisher, Rhett McBride.
And Rhett McBride, he's one of those one or two cowboys that John was talking about. He's in a points battle with. Rhett McBride only sits one off of John Abbott in 7th position coming into Richmond tonight. But Rhett, hey, this has got to be a redemption race for you after Atlanta last week. You finished 19th, had a little bit of difficulty, but talk about your race here at Richmond tonight.
Yeah, JD, we had a good race tonight. I think John pretty much hit on a lot of the same things I was thinking. It was just kind of where you were all throughout the race, I mean, you had a group of cars that were kind of racing each other. Luckily, I was in one of those groups with John because, you kind of know what to expect with John, so you can race around him. And I think, there was a lot of give and take up front, and that's where where I wanted to be tonight, just because if you got in the back, I mean, there was a lot of trouble back there. But, guys like John up front, we were giving and taking a lot tonight. You kind of know who's on, good tires and who's falling off a little bit, and you cut them some slack when you can. And then, like you see at the end, I mean, I think me and John both were sideways off every turn, racing hard, and that's when it really counts. So, we're just trying to keep it clean until the end. And then I think if I could have cleared some cars sooner than I did on that last restart, I would have had something for them up front, but we just couldn't get to them quick enough. But it was a good run, especially after, some of the luck we've been having. We had some problems in Atlanta and got caught up in somebody else's stuff. And so it was a good night just to get the momentum back.
Well, I'll tell you what, Cowboy, your ponies weren't the only ones throwing up a little bit of dirt in the corners, but starting from 13th position, how difficult was it to come up through the field?
Yeah, the first part of the race was kind of crazy. I mean, you got, a lot of guys that were very aggressive at the beginning of it, and it's just trying to race around the guys you can race around, and then staying out of trouble and trying to get in with a good group of cars just to log laps until the end. And after about halfway through the race, I think we got up to where we felt like we could start racing, and get a little bit more aggressive, and you just kind of keep building it up towards the end. So strategy-wise, I think we did good. We picked our way through there, and we kept the bumper clean, so everything worked out.
And like John said, this is about position pretty much for you two. Also, Brian Harvey, who sits a couple of notches out in front of you in 5th, and you're just close enough. It'll come all the way down to Homestead for you Cowboys too. But who makes it happen for you, Rhett?
Well, Jay, I'd like to thank you guys up in the booth at ETV. I know Laura doesn't get enough credit by the drivers, so she does a great job pushing the buttons and all that good stuff. But want to thank the series sponsor, Inside Sim Racing TV, Hippie's Paint Shop, and then my sponsor, GT Omega Racing. You can go visit them at gtomegaracing.com and talk to Leo and talk about getting a race simulator.
There you go. And I'll tell you what, I just had a little note passed to me up here. And Bobby Terrell is now your points leader, Joe, with Stefan Marinak just 5 points behind. CJ LeVere closing the distance, just 33 points off of Bobby Terrell now.
That is right. It's something we mentioned earlier. Bobby Terrell was going to walk away one way or another with the points lead tonight with trouble with Stefan Marinak. Marinak definitely had some trouble. I think we've got that replay queued up again real quick. Let's take one more look at that before we go tonight. And you see just the way he gets off the turn and the way he goes back into that inside wall, hits the wall hard. And when you for Marinak, he's still got 10 races left to go, and he can very easily get back up front. He can get back through this field, and if he wants to win a championship, he's still in position to keep himself competitive as well for the next 10 races. 33 points behind with tonight's big win. It's going to be very interesting watching everybody come down to the finish of this series. Give you guys plenty of stuff to talk about on the Rewind BS and Back Talk radio show next Tuesday.
You bet. I'll tell you what, I swear to God, I'm going to look in the trunk downstairs and see if we can't get a better mic code for you plugged in. But I tell you, you know what a race here at Richmond Speedway. 9 more to go here with the Asphalt Assault Series. Of course, the series being sponsored by Inside Sim Racing TV. There's a Fanatic wheel stand on the hunt here for championship prize, along with a Derek Spears button box. And I tell you, back in the day, I wish that I had both of them. It would have saved a whole lot of marks and on my desk here from screwing my steering wheel down. But I'll tell you what, for Joe Cortez joining me for the first time up here in the booth, and for Laura, of course, down in the trailer pushing the buttons, we did have a grand old time, even though, we had so many cautions here. But I swear, the racing will get better. It always does with these dudes. And you want to tune in next Thursday night here again on ETVLive. Of course, a lot of racing here on ETVLive. You can check the calendar, etv-eplay.net. Hey, we didn't even plug them tonight, but I'll tell you, what a night here at Richmond. We're going to go ahead and lock it up, and we'll catch you next time.